So what I do is I sketch a row of heads. 9 heads, 9 different positions going from left to right. Practicing this way helps me to get my hands used to making and constructing heads in very common positions, and over time be able to construct them rather quickly. It's also flexible with time. Some days I'm too busy to really do a whole row of heads. Maybe you are dealing with the same thing. With this way of practicing, you don't have to do all 9 heads. You could do 7, 5, 3, maybe even just 2. And you can fit it in, and each time you do it, you will only get quicker at doing it. Okay, so I am currently constructing heads, left to right, kind of assessing, and of course cleaning as I go, the direction, or I guess the position of the head. Where do I want the, I don't draw in the eyes, but where would I want the eyes to be looking at? Just cleaning out the bottom there. And so I'm really just trying to get the shape in. Really, at this point, using my imagination to really get clearly where am I trying to go with the positioning of the head. I'm just mapping out the different positions in advance. So I'm just continuing now. I'm drawing the third head, sketching it, making sure that it's in line, that it's not going up or too far down. So I move to the fourth one, just still trying to get the position straight, trying to make sure it maps pretty well throughout the whole row, and making sure that it's not too high or too low as I progress. So as you can see, it's slightly tilted, but I still move on to the next head because with this exercise you don't want to dwell too much on details, and I tend to dwell on the details of a particular thing rather often, and so this exercise helps me just to focus on spending only a few minutes at a time on each head, because I'm trying to get it done as quickly as possible, and before spending too much time on one moving along with the other. I didn't really like how that one turned out. A little chubby on the cheeks. It's more like a chipmunk. Not really sure how to make that better at this point, but that's okay, because that's really what the practice is for, just to analyze each one, and as I do it, quickly analyze what was wrong and try to improve it for the next sketch. And so that's why you have all the empty heads, or well, 3 now, going off to the right. Okay, so I want to leave you guys with 6 tips that we could probably expound upon in future videos. The first being, select the right references. You definitely want to select the right references when you are constructing any art piece. Typically, you would want to have ones that are most relative to the idea you want to portray. Anything outside of that would make it more difficult for you to ultimately finish the art piece. Second is to utilize multiple references. You definitely want to utilize more than at least 5+ references at a time for each art piece that you're doing, so that you have a well-rounded vision, or you can get a well-rounded vision within your imagination of what you ultimately want the end result to look like. Third is maintain a variety of references. You definitely want a variety of references when it comes to positions, when it comes to angles, when it comes to poses, when it comes to the way certain parts are structured, because it helps bring clarity to ultimately what you want to put forward in the picture. The fourth one is adapting references to your art style. So with that, you definitely want to study multiple artists for that. You don't want to study 1 or 2. And with studying multiple artists, it gives you the ability to then take things, each thing that you like from each individual artist, and incorporate it into your own art and make it your own, make it very unique. The next one is experiment with different mediums. So traditional art and digital art is 2 mediums that I practice art through, and there are some things that you can do with traditional art that you can't do with digital art, and some things you do in digital art that you can't really do, or sorry, you can't do in traditional drawing. For one instance, I mean, the most common one being that in digital art you can go backward, right? In traditional drawing you have to use an eraser, and if you use a pen, well, you can't go back. I mean, unless you have whiteout, which is what I use. But if you use too much whiteout, it can make it a little messy. So one thing that comes out of that, however, is the lesson for you to learn: with each stroke that you make, you got to make it with purpose, intent, not carelessly. And so if you practice to make every stroke on the paper or the medium that you're working through, if you practice to make every stroke with purpose, it ultimately helps you to, trains your mind to be sharp and to be very decisive in how you want your ultimate piece to look like. The last one being continual practice and observation. Obviously, you definitely want to do that to be simply more proficient. Any artist that you see that is proficient at their work or that you find amazing, that's essentially what they do. And that will be it. I think I will end the video. Any other thoughts or any of the tips that you found interesting? Comments, if you want me to expand more on them, let me know about that in the comments, and I'll make videos in the future to clarify or just expound more on these tips. See you in the next video.